ESVN.
Stone cold lock of the century. All week.
Our locks, baby.
we can't because it's in our it's in OBS. Like we can't hear it, but it's even funny for me to see it on mute. For
Just
the
our
5
faces, yeah.
just crashing into each other. It's
Well,
the high drama.
It's
of the
a
picks.
clash of the Titans, really. Maybe
Absolutely.
a preview about who I'm selecting.
Good one.
But not a Titan. I am not a Titan. I do not deserve said title yet because my gambling, my 3 picks. I mean, I've not had a bad year like in my personal life with my little bets, but in this competition, it's just Bradley can't stop winning. He finally lost. He lost 1 game, but he's lost 1 game in 4 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Whatever. I don't even know. Three. So 1 game. No, because didn't you go 3-0, 3-0, then push twice, then went 2-1 last week? I don't even know. Either way, this dude is just like on fire right now. And so these are our picks from last week. I felt quite burned about that Bears one because they seemed to control the whole game. The Falcons won as soon as, the game got going. It was quite obvious that it was not going to go my way. The Bears should have won that game. They did not. And then it became like a 2-point differential later in the game, and I was like, oh my God, the Bears are going to win and not cover. But then they just lost. So that defense is terrible and might now replace their NFC North rival, the Lions, in that game as one of the worst defenses in the NFL, if not the worst. Hey, look at that! There you go.
I was just on Twitter.
Oh my gosh, I'm a Twitch streamer right now, and then I the only pick I got right was my Giants at home, and that wasn't even a pretty game. Bradley started off badly with the Seahawks in Munich. Das Hawks lost.
Das Hawks
They
losers.
lost. Get out of my sight. The Seahawks lost 2.5 points. It was, they tried to come back at the end, but Brady and the Bucks rolled them. Then Vikings plus 3.5. Bradley won that in dramatic fashion, and the Cardinals plus 1.5, which is essentially a pick'em, and they beat the Rams with a horrible display of backup quarterback play. John Wolford looks lost.
Yeah, that like week 16-17 flash that he got when they benched Jared Goff is potentially no longer there. That might have been a flash in the pan for John Wolford, as it were.
I mean, he didn't look so bad when he came in the past, but I guess anyone's going to look awful on that team right now with that offensive line.
It's bleak over there in LA for the Super Bowl.
Luckily, they have the draft
chance.
capital. Oh wait.
But
hey, look, they won the Super Bowl with it. That's why
you do
really
it.
Is all that matters.
You push it into the middle of the table. But yeah, like you said, the Germany pick was a risky one. Really things could have gone either way, and the Bucks played well enough to win that game, and the Seahawks defense didn't look as good as it had in the last few weeks. So it's kind of understandable. And like you said, weird vibes, European game in a soccer stadium. So I could understand if I was going to lose any of those. I was actually almost weirdly more confident in Vikings Bills than I was this game.
Yeah, I that was the one I felt less confident about with yours as well. I think I said it at the time. So. All right, let's just get into what we have for this week. I'm going back to the well with Thursday Night Football, baby. The Titans keep this stuff close. Titans plus 3.5. I got to do it. I mean, the Packers, yes, they had a really good win and a much needed win after losing 5 straight. They were able to defeat the Cowboys in overtime, but that's an overtime game. It's a short week. Titans, they play everybody close, and I could see them winning this game.
Oh, I agree.
I mean,
I was debating this one. Titans
are. I was for sure when we both sent our picks to each other. I was for sure thinking that you were going to go with the Titans because that's your team to bet on. But,
truly,
but the markets undervalue them because they're the Titans. Like they're not necessarily the sexiest team. They don't have a superstar quarterback.
It's weirdly almost like late latter period, like Popovichian almost, like Spursian, in the sense of like no one's really overestimating them or honestly even really estimating them at all. They just like they plug and play guys everywhere in their system that just like work and like perform well and do exactly what they need to do to succeed. They're like always, like you said, they just stay in games regardless of the quality of the opponent. They're just always there most of the time, even if they lose. I mean, you had frickin' Nick Westbrook-Akine go for 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards yesterday, like his best game of his career. And it's like guys on that team can just like
Not
do
yesterday,
that.
you mean?
Oh, sorry, yesterday,
yeah.
Sunday. Excuse me. I don't know what day it is. That guys can just do that. For them. And it just like happens. Like it's
and the thing about
awesome to watch.
I also just think the matchup is a good one for the Titans. They have Derrick Henry. The Packers' run defense has not been good.
No.
I saw that their DVOA is, bottom 5 in the league, and I think the Texans have the worst against the run. But usually I'm not Miss Analytics, but when I'm down bad to Bradley in these games, I've got to look deeper into the stats.
If their run defense is anywhere near where the frickin' Texans' run defense is, that's a huge indictment of what's going on on the Packers side of things. I mean, they invested in that defense.
Oh yeah,
like they like re-signed Jair Alexander to a big contract, signed Devondre Campbell to a big contract, like. They were hoping for this defense to be formidable, and they have definitely been kind of slacking the last few weeks and really not been living up to that whatsoever.
And that could, it's just right. So anyway, I just think the matchup's really bad for the for the Titans. I mean, for the Packers, and emotional wins. I like teams on short weeks coming off emotional wins like that. I think largely they've played really badly generally anyway, and Jeffrey Simmons is expected to play tonight. That goes a long way to stopping the run game. I think the Titans are the more talented team. I expect them to keep it close.
Yeah, even though they're missing their center, I think his name Ben Jones. Their center, the Titans are missing their center. Amani Hooker isn't playing, and one more guy I think on the defense is out, or maybe Lonnie Walker. No, not Lonnie Walker's a Laker. Lonnie Johnson, I think his name is. Few guys missing, but even with that being said, this is a team who I honestly worry less about when they're playing injured, because a lot of these guys are stepping up. Like Harold Landry's been out the whole season. Mm-hmm. Guys have been stepping up in his place. And if Simmons is back, Simmons is like the best.
Simmons is one of the 10 best defensive players in the league.
I would honestly say so, and definitely like top 2, like or the best at his actual position. So like having him back, I think, is also crucial, just like you said, to get pressure on Rodgers. And if they can keep a lock on the Packers receivers like they did when they were basically blanketing the Chiefs receivers, making Mahomes kind of antsy in the pocket, Simmons can get to work.
Oh yeah. So now you've got
Yeah, that's right. I did it. I'm taking the Jets plus 3.5 over the Patriots in Foxborough. This is the time. We are crossing the Rubicon. The paradigm is shifting, and the Jets are going to beat the Patriots in Foxborough.
I can't keep up with your schizophrenia about this.
Well, listen, now that they've beaten the Dolphins and that they've beaten the Bills, the only way for me to actually, it's not only the team crossing the Rubicon, it's me crossing the Rubicon personally. The Kool-Aid will have been drunk if I hit on this bet.
Yeah, I mean...
And if they don't, it's the same old Jets, and I'm never doing it ever again.
It sounds like you definitely have, like, at least dipped your tongue into the Kool-Aid. Yikes.
I have to do it. This is the only way that I'll believe in this team.
How is this possible? I mean, come on, like, Bradley, really? You really think they're gonna? I almost considered doing Patriots minus 3.5 in New England.
But I didn't. It's happening, folks.
The half point scared
Zach
me.
Wilson's gonna have the best game of his career. Everyone's gonna play great.
Okay.
Mac Jones gonna suck. Zappy's gonna come in.
Okay, so this is just like this is just vibes, not analytics.
Purely vibes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to add?
Haven't looked at the injury report. Haven't looked at any sort of trends going into the game. Just was like, you know what? It's got to be this week.
Well, I mean, you are feeling yourself.
It's got to be week 11.
This is Bradley's heat check.
This is my heat check, and I might. This is a heat check that I might just clang back rim.
Yeah.
just
then,
deep three from the logo, just clang off the rim.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'll pull a Nick Young, celebrate while my back is turned.
Yes. You're just like, and this is like your Russell Westbrook off the bench potential moment, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, with that, we have one identical pick for the first time in a little while. And it's my Giants. Now,
yeah, both New York teams for me this week.
Yeah.
I'm in a New York state of mind.
I didn't understand this line. I mean,
no, me neither. I'm actually kind of surprised by it, frankly.
But this has been the story with the Giants and Vegas all year, and I understand it to an extent. Like, I'm retracting my Vikings are the number one pretenders in the NFL take after last week, and it's just, I mean, it was between them and the Giants, and the Vikings have proven that that's not the case anymore. They just, like, I don't even know what's going on there, but they have an MVP candidate at wide receiver as part of the situation. But the Giants -3 at home. It's going to be a cold day here in New York. The Lions defense, they have improved in the past 2 weeks. I don't necessarily still believe in them. I think Galladay and Wan'Dale Robinson are struggling with injuries, but it's like the Giants are winning without them anyway. Galladay can't catch anything. Maybe he'll have like some sort of sign of life against his former team if he does play. But I just feel like Jared Goff in cold weather, bad. The Giants are going to be able to run the ball on that defense. Saquon is playing out of his mind. And I just trust Wink Martindale to confuse that guy, that quarterback over there, Jared Goff, enough for the Giants to at least win by a field goal. I mean, that's my expectation.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Keep in mind, like we're saying that the Lions have looked a little bit feistier on defense than before, but I mean they were playing the Bears, which in the Bears obviously, like it's been great to see Justin Fields kind of coming out party these last few weeks, but I would be more impressed if they were kind of locking down, let's say the Chiefs or the Bills or somebody like that. They haven't had an opponent where I'm like, oh wow, I'm actually pretty shocked that like they were able to keep this game particularly close. And not for nothing, the Bears did to their credit score almost 30 points on them, or 29 points or whatever, 30 points on them. So it's not as if they were really like stingy with that game to begin with. And I just think like it's clear what we've seen in terms of the defensive shortcomings of this team, and that it almost seems like their offense, the light shone pretty bright in the first few weeks, and it hasn't carried over into the second half of the season fully yet. They're obviously not fully healthy as well. With not Jameson Williams hasn't played at all yet. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been in and out of the lineup. I also am just expecting it from on both ends of the ball. I'm going to trust a Wink Martindale defense over the defense that fired their defensive backs coach, and has been giving up a ton of points to a ton of bad teams. And I'm trusting Dable over Dan Campbell in this matchup as well, just to kind of get the most out of his guys schematically and put them in the best positions to succeed. But
and Dable's no like wallflower either.
No,
he fires those guys up. It's just
totally.
It's just in a less charismatic maybe way,
and less like I would
Campbell.
say like melodramatic way too.
Yeah, I was being
like
kind.
Soap opera way,
right?
Which I love, obviously.
I mean, it's fun. It's good content, but. Oh, okay. That's it, right? So we're both taking the Giants.
Oh my God, yes. Sorry, yes. This was me not only talking you into your pick, it was also me talking me into my pick.
Right. So there we go. So we go down with the ship, or we sail ashore. We'll see. But God, part of me wishes I took the Patriots just to fuck with you, but I'm not doing that because this third pick is always the hardest for me. I usually have strong feelings about two, and then the third one I go wishy-washy about. And I'll be real, like I initially picked the Panthers +13 against the Ravens because I was like, that line is ridiculous, and the Panthers just beat the Falcons. The Falcons are fine. The Panthers should be able to at least keep it a little bit close, and the Ravens don't blow people out. But then I looked up the statistic. Lamar Jackson in his time with the Ravens is 8-2 against double-digit spreads.
Yeah,
so,
that is a stat and a half.
So maybe I'm wrong that they don't blow people out. Like maybe they just keep it close when the team is kind of serviceable. But if it's the Panthers, I just couldn't pull the trigger on that, even though 13 points seems like a little ridiculous. I'm going.
Oh yeah, I would just like I kind of understood where you were coming from in the sense that
they have a talented defense,
right?
I mean
that I wouldn't necessarily think, and especially after how they played last week. I forgot who they played, but I feel like they did score a decent amount of points. It's not the Panthers. Am I mistaken?
Well, I mean,
I think that there was. I think they kept it close for one game where I was like, oh, okay, they were actually a little bit more competitive than I expected. Maybe it wasn't last week. Maybe it was
I mean, they scored 25 on the Falcons, but the Falcons' defense is not very that good. It's not that good. I mean, they scored 35 against the Falcons, 34 against the Falcons last time.
Right.
You know?
So I guess what I was thinking is, yes, they're definitely bad, but I just wouldn't necessarily think instantly like, oh, like they're going to be down 2 touchdowns against the Ravens, because the Ravens' offense and defense is also had its own struggles, and also have also both in terms of just kind of like dynamism on the offensive front and also injuries on the defensive end as well. So I understood it, but it's just such a huge line. Like I see double digits like that, basically 2 scores, and I'm like, many things could go awry with that much space to get.
That's the line I expect with Kansas City versus the Texans. You know, I don't think that the difference between the Ravens, I mean, they have Lamar, but you know, we don't know if Mark Andrews is coming back. This is a pick I didn't select. Okay, so whatever.
But I understand.
But that was my reasoning, and I changed it really like with 10 minutes before the show because one, I felt like that game might have given me a heart attack, just being like, Panthers, keep it close, please.
Yeah.
And
wearing your DJ Moore jersey.
Yeah, just like dark times. So I decided to go with the Eagles here, and I still feel fairly decent about this. Eagles -7, so to win by a touchdown at least, and who knows where this line's gonna go. Apparently it shrunk from like 10.5 to just 7. I think people might be feeling the Colts because of a recent
Saturday
bias.
mania.
Oh yeah, they're looking to party on Saturday, but I'm going to tell you it's Friday. It's not fucking Saturday.
There's gonna be a Thursday. There's gonna be a Friday morning hangover for Jeff Saturday. He's got his dates wrong.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I shouldn't have drank on that night. That's what we're feeling here. I mean, but speaking of hangovers, like a big euphoric win for the Colts.
First for the head coach.
New head coach. And now one of the 3 best teams in the NFL is coming into town.
Who also lost their first game in 9 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever the case.
Do you think they're going to be pissed about that?
Yeah, I think they might be a little bit pissed that they lost to the fucking Washington Commanders last week, and that they are going to want to.
And the reason they lost was total crap.
Preposterous, a no call on that face mask.
And it was, they were cheated. I mean, look, they did not play well in that game. There's no question about it. And part of it was because A.J. Brown got dinged up early on. And then, you know, it looks like he's going to play on Sunday, but we'll see. Goddard is not playing. I was, you know, looking into that a little bit. I was like, oh, Goddard would be a mismatch against Shaquille Leonard, or against their linebackers, because Shaquille Leonard isn't playing. But and is out for the rest of the year. But Goddard is out. I still like the Eagles to win in Indianapolis. Indy does, you know, they do have Jonathan Taylor, and the Eagles' run defense is not that good. It's not very good. They've struggled a little bit, but I just think that the Eagles are going to be able to crush Matt Ryan on a pass rush. And I am surprised about the way that the Eagles' run defense has kind of looked statistically, even though, because they do have so many big people on that defensive line. But regardless, like, the officiating is really what cost them that game. I did think that they were going to come back at that point. A.J. Brown, hopefully he's feeling a little bit better. I loved bounce back games for good teams. And, you know, Matt Ryan, it's nice for him that he had success against the Raiders, but the Raiders have 0 defensive talent. Just none. I mean, they have Max Crosby, who's decent. He's good pass rusher, but he has no help.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say he's one guy.
One guy.
He's one guy.
The
He
rest
can't-
of the defense is crap.
Yeah, and they're playing
Crap.
like it too. There's no, they're it's not only I think personnel quality, it's also like play quality. Like they're not even being coached up to playing.
And
better.
who's their defensive coordinator? Patrick Graham.
Oh, I know.
I root for him, but
Such a bummer.
But my point is that Nick Sirianni has faced Patrick Graham's defense.
That's right.
Might have some familiarity. So, that is those are my picks. Eagles -7. Your final pick, Bradley.
I am sticking with the Vikings. I did it last week, and I'm going to do it again. Vikings plus 1.5 against the Cowboys.
They've got like a shamrock up their ass, so
it's more because I just find it interesting based. I mean, the Cowboys, obviously, the defense is great. Micah Parsons has been playing out of his mind. Like, it's, they've been playing, Dak's come back and played decently well. But my thing is just, I still wouldn't spot Dallas to be the favorite against the 8-1 team, or the 8-1, 7-1,
7-1. Or no,
8-1, right?
8-1, yeah.
I wouldn't spot Dallas to be the favorite by a point and a half against the 8-1 team, who I think has honestly continued to play better and better, and also beat one of the best teams in the league last week with Allen. I know Allen wasn't fully healthy, but he was playing, and it did go to overtime. It wasn't even just like they did fight it out. It wasn't.
We
just
had
like,
an I am saying in the majority report today that we should be. Is anyone going to take the bait and take the Vikings in prime time? But this is a 4:15 or 4:25 game. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
so
not prime time.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have even necessarily blanched to that, because at this point I got nothing to lose.
This should be the prime time game, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is a great game.
I mean, I can't stand watching the Chargers. It makes me so mad that I don't want to see them on another primetime game. But regardless,
and it wasn't even that interesting of a game, the Niners Chargers game, and it was at 8:20 on Sunday night. Like,
yeah, it's just everything.
after Vikings Bills, after like what was one of the best games of this, if not the best game.
I know.
Season.
I don't know why they don't want to. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but like,
no.
This sounds like a perfect primetime game. It's Dallas, and like NBC loves
Oh
to
my
ride
God,
Dallas
yeah,
in primetime, and the
absolutely.
Vikings are like the talk of the league right now.
100%.
Whatever,
Yeah, maybe they'll flex. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But
they can't. Yeah.
My thought is just if this can continue, and I mean also honestly, it's partially just a bet on Justin Jefferson. Like if he's fully healthy and he gets what he was able to get from Kirk last week, where he was just making unbelievable catch after unbelievable catch and just like optimizing every situation he was in, like I have faith that the Vikings can keep playing well. If they can, keep the errors to a minimum, Kirk can remain upright and making the throws that he's got to make and feeling comfortable. I think some of the explosive and off the supporting cast that's conducive to his strengths can do the rest. And if the pass rush can continue to play like they've been playing, which is a little bit better, Zadarius Smith has been showing some good stuff. Daniil Hunter, the secondary's been playing much better than I thought they would. Patrick Peterson in his 12th twilight of his career is still playing, good snaps. Got the game-ending interception in overtime last week. I'm feeling high in the Vikings. I wasn't before, but I'm here now.
Yeah, no, I totally see it. I just wanted to add to my pick. I forgot they just add.
Oh yes,
we just added Sue. We talked about it before the show.
Oh yeah,
but,
Dominican Sue
that'll help for run support
on the Eagles. Yes, they're getting some more rushing pass rush depth there. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how he folds in. But